Hi there guys, Stefan here with another update of my SSF journey in Path of Exile's current temporary league. In this video I will go over my new reroll, and also I'm gonna touch on what my long-term strategy for the rest of the league is in terms of what characters I want to reroll into and what the specific purposes behind each of the characters is. So my current reroll is Deadeye that I've managed to get to level 91 so far, and we are using a build that I've copied from another YouTuber whose content I'm a huge fan of and I do like to follow, and the guy is Snoobay85. And he specifically does mainly like an MF tornado shot type of character. And I've been wanting to reroll this archetype in PoE for quite a while, because it is quite a useful archetype to use as a farming character. But I've always been put off from rolling this type of character, because there is this misconception, I would say, that you can't do a good bow character in SSF, but in fact it is possible, as you will see in the map demonstration later on, that you do definitely are able to get a good bow character started in SSF. You just have to respect the fact that there will be a few different transitions. So currently I'm doing the elemental version of tornado shot. Now we've got both tornado shot as an attack that I've got in a 6th link with GMP, Trinity, Inspiration, Tornado Shot, elemental damage with attack skills, and Mirage Archer. Pardon me. Now in the bow, and by the way, the bow, this is just an item that I managed to find on the ground as it is. It came with 3 different reasonably high elemental attack damage rolls, and this was the basis of the build. When I identified the item, I immediately decided that I want to do, to try out a tornado shot for the first time. And in the bow, we've got another TS setup, which is ballistic totem, added cold damage, added lightning, tornado shot, and GMP. Now, my rest of the skills are Herald of Ice, Hatred, Grace, and Vitality in a Helm, which I managed to farm previously on my Guardian character. So the Devouring item is it's not part of the original build that I was following, but it worked out quite well so that I can manage the mana reservation, and I also get a +1 to level of socketed gems, which is nice for the auras. But yeah, basically I probably will be using that in endgame as well. The Ice Trap damage penetrates 10% cold res enchant that I've got. It's just a random enchant, it's not doing anything for me. The rest of the skills are Mark on hit support with Sniper's Mark, which makes so that when we are using our tornado shot, we automatically apply a Sniper's Mark to an enemy. We've got also Life Tap and Frostblink in this setup. In the gloves, which is another pinnacle of the build, we're using Worm Sign for the gain Rampage while at maximum endurance charges. Now, Rampage is a very key part of the build. It gives us the ability to go extremely fast and gain damage, speed, which translates into defense as well, because the quicker you kill the enemies, the safer you are. And I'm gonna mention this when I go over the defense of the build, because on paper it is an extremely squishy build, but in practice, as we will see in the demonstration that I'll do later, it is quite a durable build, and if you play it properly, you will rarely die. And it's a given that for this type of build, you need to learn a little bit. You need to be a little bit better in how you pilot the character, because there is a few buttons that you constantly need to be pressing and to be keeping an eye on your cooldowns, etc. But that is part of the build, and that's why I enjoy as well about it, and that's why I wanted to try it out for a bit, because it does test your knowledge. And by playing that build, you do become better at the game as well, which is quite an important thing for me as I'm trying to improve my, player skill. So in the gloves, we've got Steel Skin, Haste, Defiance Banner, and Enduring Cry. In terms of the rest of the gear, this piece we just randomly wrote, I think with essences, and it's not super good, but you'll be, until I craft something else when I get to tier 16, so I'm gonna just recraft the whole gear. But until then, I'll use that that piece just for the 6 link. Other than that, it's not particularly good. Then you'll be using Asphyxis Rat for our quiver slot. Gives a chance to freeze, gain 20% physical damage, just extra cold damage, which is not great because we don't have a lot of physical damage at the moment. We are mainly relying on the flat elemental damage. Then we get 30% increased shield duration on enemies, some resist, attack speed. It does give us the Frostbite skill, which we don't really use because we mainly utilize the Mark. You're using Victorious Acuity for a chance to gain Frenzy and Power Charges. Oh, by the way, we are using Blood Rage for the increased attack speed. So yeah, back to the amulet. We are also getting some projectile speed per frenzy and per power charge, and we have three of each type. Then a little bit of chaos res, some lightning res, and stats, and I've allocated prowess because I'm in desperate need of strength. And for the belt, I've just got a Stygian, which the key thing that I'm using is intelligence, because I'm needing that as well, some life, and increased flask life recovery rate, plus some resist. And in it, we've got Jaw that gives us double elemental damage, some life, and 3% chance to blind enemies on hit with attacks. The POB I'll slightly go over. First of all, we'll start going through here for the increased attack speed notes. We're gonna level the character as Caustic Arrow or Toxic Rain or some sort of hybrid of the two. And we will respec into that tree when we want to roll into the build. So the tree is we'll go get mana reservation stuff, Taste of Blood for some life gain and sustain. We get ballistics. Go to here, we'll get all the mana stuff as well. And we get quick step. We get one with nature. We'll go to here for the life, get damage, some utility and other stuff to here, and we go down that way. Now this is not the final version. The final version would actually be it's not gonna be pure elemental version. We're gonna need a physical damage bow, which we need to craft to be able to transition to the last phase. And we are gonna stack added, percent cold damage, a percent physical added is cold damage. So it will be a cold physical variant of the build, but we don't have the gear. Also, I'm needing the rest of Defiance to replace the my armor in the end game, but I've not managed to find one yet. But I'm pretty sure that it's not a super rare unique, so I should be able to get one. And the Rest of Defiance, what it will do is that we'll be able to drop Enduring Cry, because remember, we get Rampage when we are at maximum endurance charge, so at the moment we can generate them with Enduring Cry, but the Rest of Defiance, it gives you, I think, an endurance charge every time you're hit, or some other like endurance charge generation mechanism. But once I transition, I'm gonna do, I'll update the POB and I'll post it in a future video. But so far, this is what we're doing. I have also completely respect my tree. So what I'm spec'd into at the moment is I've fully spec'd, I've kept my investment into Harbingers. I have fully invested into Breach, Legion, and into Delve as well. Now the Delve is, now since we have dropped the Essence nodes, we need some other form of currency to craft, and because I like Delve, I like this type of content, and it is also required for some of the challenges. There is Delve specific challenges, so because I want to get them done anyway, I thought I may use that character to farm fossils, to progress the Delve, and to also to farm, you know, Breach and Abyss boss invitations, which we need for a few reasons. First of all, we need the we need to run a 4-way of these bad boys, these emblems. So when you run any 4 of them, this will unlock another slot into your map device. So in theory, you'll be able to run one more Abyss Scarab, or, you know, any other sort of fragment that you want to add on to your maps. And as you can see previously on my SRS Guardian, it wasn't well suited to farm this type of content because it just wasn't quick enough. And when I started that character like a week ago, I didn't have even one emblem in terms of Breach. I didn't have any of the Breach stones. Now I've got multiple of, and this is really the logic behind why I wrote that character. On the SRS guy, we had managed to get to tier 16 maps. We managed to, you know, to get a good starting map pool going, but the time that it took us to run maps was too long. When you think about what, you know, the end game of Path of Exile is, and to do pretty much end game, you know, to be able to do any sort of boss encounters, you need to be running a lot of maps, because all of these guys, the end game bosses, to be able to get like the key to unlock the encounter, you need to run like for Maven it's 10 maps. I think for these guys it took about 20 maps. But anyway, what I'm saying is that you need to have a quick character that it doesn't require to have really high boss damage, but it needs to be going to maps quick. And while we are doing that, while we are running through maps quickly, I thought that I'll leverage the Breach and the Legion and the Delve mechanics to be able to utilize the time I spent on the character in the best way. Because all those boss encounters are a source of, you know, specific uniques that I may be using. For example, I think it was in Chayula's Breachstone, but Chayula has a chance to drop a specific sword that gives your minions chance to poison, so that's something potentially I want to play around with as well. So, and also there is a chance, an increased chance of those Breach bosses to drop the invitations that I need to, like the Eldritch and Maven invitation. So I need Like, see those boss invitations? I've still have like another 3, I think, or 2 to drop, and you get a better chance to get them by running the specific content. So in terms of the character, I'll just be running maps. At the moment, I'm decided to use all my Nico missions, so I'm going to be running tier 5s for the white tier missions, tier 10s for the 11s, and then I'll slowly, once I get to like level 94, 95, I'll transition into doing 14s with the character, because I think by that point it will be viable. At the moment, I'm just sticking to like lower level of maps, just so I can level my damage, because each new level I'll get from now on, I've got a few cluster duos that I've prepped for the character, so each extra point would be additional damage. And this brings me to the next point that I wanted to go into in some detail, which would be what other characters I'll be doing. So, and what's the reason behind the different 3 roles? Because we started with, well, we had the failed start with the assassin that we abandoned like a week into the league. Then we did our SRS Guardian, which is the initial character that you, as a maybe a beginner player or somebody that hasn't gotten to end game yet, has to start with. And instead of getting, some sort of like a super specialized character, which is difficult to do at the start, it's much more beneficial to start with a well-rounded character that's somewhat quick, but also has got the capability to do bosses in a reasonable time. So, any type of summoner is pretty good in that capacity. There are countless other archetypes as well that you can use. But this was the idea behind the SRS Guardian. Use it to complete all our Atlas, get the boss completion done, etc. Oh, I just realized now that I've never done that map. I've never completed it as rare, so potentially I've got another. Good thing I'm doing that video. That's a bit embarrassing. But yeah, and then we wanted to reroll into a quick MF type of character. So this is what the point of the current Deadeye is. And what the next character will be is... And I've not decided on what the character will be, because I probably will get the inspiration from whatever type of gear I find when I start running bosses and, dropping some, build-defining uniques. But the idea behind it is that this will be the character that I'll potentially want to use it to get to level 100, which, first of all, is a personal goal of mine, and also there is a challenge, like every league. There is a challenge to get to a level 100. Sorry, let me just see what my cat wants. Sorry about that. Sorry about a quick interruption, guys. Yeah, so depending on what gear we get once we get to like real endgame and once we start doing bosses, we will do some sort of endgame character that I would want to push to 100. And our strategy in terms of how we level it will probably be different. But it's quite nice to have, a couple of different characters that you can use for different things. And when you know that, because sometimes I would get like really frustrated on the SRS guy, because I thought at first that I wanted to take it to 100. But I would like, every now and then I would do something stupid and I would die, and then my experience will reset. And that really pissed me off. But then once I know in my head that I'll have, basically for the SRS guy, the level of experience doesn't matter, because this is not going to be the 100 level character. And then we've got this guy that we can also run carelessly, just, doing maps, getting, different currency, different uniques, etc., and just running maps so that we can get boss invitations. And then I'll probably run the third character. This would be in the last league of or even the last few weeks of the map of the league. That the sole purpose of that character will be to get to a level 100. So it will need to be obviously quick, but it will also need to be really, really durable, because this guy is durable, but it's just not a character that I could really bet at. I'm not gonna rip on my way to level 100. So that. I mean, the name of the character is level 100 when, but it's definitely not going to be on that character. Okay, so let me just do a quick, we're doing Delph at the moment, so I'll just quickly show you a note. So that's we're at depth 125, monster level 781. So I'll just show you how the character plays, basically. And I'm just gonna mention that the key thing that we do at the start of the map or the start of the area is that we want to gain rampage. So we're gonna hit our, pardon me, we're gonna hit our blood rage. We're gonna run to a character that, to like area that has got like a pack of monsters that we can use to get up to our maximum level of endurance charges. Not yet, so we really want to gain rampage, so we will be keeping an eye on our cooldown for enduring cry. Come on, let me just gain up to maximum endurance charges, man. I still haven't got rampage, so the character is actually usually is faster, but I don't know, I've not been super lucky. The RNG has been a little bit against me. Come on, give me that rampage, man. Okay, and that is the note done. Okay, one last struggler. And that's the character. So I'll post the link to the my current POB so I can have a look at exactly the gear and the skills and all that. Once I upgrade the character, because as I mentioned, it will be getting transitioned into a slightly different setup once I acquire all the gear, which may take me some time, but the POB will be down in the description. I'll post an update next week what we are doing, and if you have any questions, because I know that in my videos I don't really go into super detail of my character. I'm not gonna just go over all the gear, because I have some faith that you can, review the POB that I'm putting down and in the description. Have a look at it for yourself, and then if you've got any questions, you're always welcome to join my Discord, in where we can talk about the build in some more detail, or I can answer any specific questions about it or anything else Path of Exile related. But yep, I'll finish the video here, Exile, and keep on grinding. Take care, bye bye.